Hi BCIT, this is Bea, and I hope the semester has been treating you well so far. And today I'm going to be talking about what is arguably one of the most valuable resources that a person could have, or at least it's within the top 5 for any given person. Time. Or specifically, what are ways that you can save time when you feel like there's just not enough time in the world? For me, that was last semester. Reflecting on how my exams went and how the past semester has gone and how often I've been putting out vlogs, I really felt like I didn't manage my time to the fullest. And as a result, I wasn't able to put out enough vlogs, my grades weren't really that great. So I did more research on what I can do to manage my time better, listened to podcasts, read some articles, and today I'll be sharing what I've learned with you. Problem number 1. It's really hard to keep track of what's going on in your life when there's just so much things being thrown at you at the same time. It's really easy to neglect to study for that one elective or like even sometimes that one major subject that isn't the biggest priority at that time. If you think this is starting to be a problem, then record roughly what you do throughout the week. If the problem is losing track of time, then record it. There is a plethora of free apps that were made for the purpose of tracking your time, or you can even write it down on paper, roughly what you did, how many hours you spent doing something. And the benefit to this is at the end of the week, you'll have a visual record of what you've done, how much time you spent doing something. By knowing all this information, all of this actual numerical data of what you've done, then you can make adjustments. Then you can look at your week and see what things have you been neglecting? What could you have spent more time on? What are you wasting all of your time on? Throughout the time that I've spent doing this, the very act of actually having to write things down and force myself to look at what I've been doing had actually made me more accountable. Because this time I can't kid myself and tell myself that I did a lot when I really haven't. Or I could look at how much time I spent and see that I've been putting hours and hours of work into doing this one thing when nothing really was coming out of it. I heard a quote from this podcast that really goes well with this tip, and it's, what you can measure, you can improve. Problem number 2. Okay, Bea, that's cool and all, but I don't even have any time. If a genie popped up right in front of me and asked me what I wanted, I'd say, I wish there were more hours in a day. If there are more than 24 hours in a day, then I'd have enough time to sleep, to study, work out, do everything that I want to do in a day, but that's just not possible. I'm sure a lot of people from BCIT can relate to just not having enough time, from having 6 to 10 courses, and not to mention lectures, labs, projects. This tip is for you guys. Everybody has downtime. There's a lot of these little moments, little chunks of time throughout the day where you can delegate a lot of your less serious tasks. When you're driving and you're stuck in traffic, or if you're waiting for the bus, you can tune into your favorite podcast and listen to something related to your field and learn something new. Or if you manage to get a seat on the bus, you can read some of your notes. And this is all the more relevant if you have a long commute or if you are off class at rush hour. This is a lot of time that you spend doing nothing and just sitting and waiting. If you feel like there's just not enough time, then every little minute counts. So even if you just have enough time for 10 minutes, if you had 6 of those, then you have a full hour. And this full hour you can use to read something, learn something new, study. It may not necessarily be in one big chunk, but it's still time. Well, I just don't feel motivated enough to start. Tell yourself you'll work on something for 30 minutes. Or if that's even too much, give yourself 15, 10, or even 5. actually set a timer. So it could be on your phone, or better yet, you could use an egg timer so you won't get distracted. And tell yourself that you'll be working with completely no distractions during that 30, 15, or 5 minutes. Because sometimes getting into a state where you're motivated to do something is just a matter of getting over the first couple of minutes of getting started. So that's it for my tips on time management. I hope you found them helpful, and until next time.